Boom, bum, boom, ba, dum, boom, boom, ba, boom, bum, ba, boom, bum, ba, boom, bum. But I am
Enough for 3 people.
Too much?
I'll empty some. Okay. Recording.
Yeah. So we are the 4th line from the top of page Ches. The line begins, V'imkei mahu yischachus lebechinas moichen achadosh. This is in line of discussing the principle that we brought down just very close by in the previous page.
Line begins with
V'imkein, 4 lines from the top. That the Iker principle of Hamshocha is in a Mamshich Tois V'Seiris. Through Aveda, Mamshich Tois V'Seiris. An increase of Vedas. And he brings down this, and in explaining what is this Tois V'Seiris. It is that it says in Siva Kabbalah that the principle of Aveda is to be Mamshich B'chinas Moichin Chadoshim, an aspect that's called Moichin Chadoshim, new Moichin. Now we're in line to try to identify what that means. Because Moichin Chadoshim is clearly implying that there is Moichin before that. There's already Moichin. And that is imperative because all Hamshochas in Seder Ishtal has an order. First there is a Keser, from Keser is Nimshach in Moichin, in Chabad, in Chochma Bina, and from that in Zoh. And therefore the Inyan HaMoichin is always present. What is the Inyan from Moichin Chadoshim? Okay, now we continue on in this Inyan. Okay, the second half of that line. The Gam Kasher Nimshach Mibchinas Atzmus HaMoichin De'avo. The question of what is the meaning of Moichin Chadoshim is a very valid question. And it doesn't lend itself to easy resolution. And the reason for that is because Gam, even, Kasher Nimshach Mibchinas Atzmus HaMoichin De'avo. But even if the Hamshochim were from the union of Etzem HaMoichin De'avo, Avo means Avoim Chochma Bina, Ein Zeh His Chachus Adayin, even that would not be cannot be qualified as his chachus. What is this? What is the reference over here? Atzmos HaMoichin. This is going to be explained, but the inference in this whole the gam that even is that one may think that we can resolve this question Moichin Chadoshim quite easily because normally Batz Nimshach from Moichin into into. Zoh is only the Ha'oras HaMechin. not etzem hameichin. As we can understand that what comes into midas, Zoe is like midas. What comes into midas, the inference of moichin, not the moichin themselves. So therefore, one would say moichin chadoshim means that the moichin himself, atzmus ha-moichin is nimshach. So that's we say that is not really an answer to our question of moichin chadoshim, because when there is, even if there is hamshocha from atzmus ha-moichin, it is not really his chachus. And he's going to explain now this whole phenomenon that says that atzmus ha-moichin, and that is not really his chachus. Hine yodua. For it is known sheyesh moichin be'etzem u'moichin hashayochin lemidas, that there are two elements, two distinct madreges within moichin. Moichin we explained yesterday is that phenomenon of relating and knowing and relating to an absolute reality, absolute truth, not as it pertains, as it affects me, like in Midas. This is the great fundamental difference, essentially, in our world between the human being and the animal. The animals also have quote-unquote moichin, and the whole world is struggling with it and saying, hey, they're smart animals. And the principle is that this is what the animals have. It's not moichin at all. It is moichin that is completely under the control of midas. In other words, how do I get what I want? Moichin, human moichin, at the minimum, is he identifies what he should want, which is in a different category completely, and that way he can only to find out what he should want. He has to first relate to what the truth is, what we call the objective truth. This is the principle of moichin. Within moichin itself, there are two levels. Yesh moichin be'etzem u'moichin hashayochin lemidas. Moichin, the way they are unto themselves, the essence of moichin. And then there is the moichin hashayochin lemidas that belong and relate to midas. Okay. The moichin be'etzem hu hasogas etzem ha'inyan. That primary level of moichin, what's called moichin be'etzem, that describes, that relates to hasogas etzem ha'inyan, the comprehension of the essence of an inyan. The whole phenomenon of recognizing that there is such a thing as an essential reality, essential truth, this is in etzem ha'moichin. This is, as we said before, so to speak, this is the what the human reality is. Etzem ha'moichin. Hasogas etzem ha'inyan. The knowing of the thing as the thing is unto itself. We speak about it all the time, and we point out that this is reflected even on a physical level. That in sight in general, and moichin, which includes chokhmah and bina, But in general, moichin in general, in comparison to midas, is sight versus hearing or touch. And what is a special in sight, as we point out all the time, that in every other sense, through every other sense, we become aware of the object from our own perspective, how it affects us. In sight, we are aware, we recognize the object as if the object is unto itself. That's meant asogas etzem inyan. The whole phenomenon of knowing, so to speak, an independent truth, an objective truth, this is called meichen be'etzem. Asogas meichen etzem inyan. And then there is the other level of meichen hashayochim lemidas, meichen that relate and they recognize midas. Hu hahasogo, that is a completely different phase of hasoga, of comprehension. And the hasoga there is mipnei ma shetzorich lirtzes bozeh. What would be the reason, and for what benefit, and for what special quality shetzorich lirtzes bozeh, that it is justified lirtzes bozeh to want this particular inyan. Because lirtzes bozeh, to want this is already in relation to midas. Okay, so this is in brief the inyan of the two levels of meichen be'etzem, and meichen hasheyochim midas. Going back to our original statement that hamshochas etzem hamoichin is not really a inyan from his chashus, and now we are bringing it out conclusively. That after that there was a hamshocha of the moichin, how they are related to midas, and you already identified the true justification, the true value of this inyan that justifies why you should want this inyan. Ein his chachus kol kach behamshochas hameichin beyetz. There is not that great of a revelation and innovation by bringing down the inyan from meichin beyetz, the essential meichin. Meichin be'etzem provide an understanding of the background for the meichin hashayochim lemidas. But it is not that great of his chachus, because you already know the reality as it's reflected in midas and in practice. So, having discussed, this in various phases, we have a ready illustration of this statement here. And we said lately, several times, we mentioned this halacha that if you lend somebody an object and you want it back before the minimal time of lending, 30 days, you can't have it back. It's by him. He can lend it back to you, but you can't have it back. You can annul this transaction just simply by changing your mind. This is the halacha. And this halacha can be understood in all kinds of different ways. And this would be the moichin hashayochim lemidas, to explain why this is right, that you should not be able to take it back. Then there is, as we pointed out, the source of that. What makes this? What is the source? What is the basis for it? Let me explain. The basis for this is that really this object is like yours and belongs to you, and you can do anything you want with it. And without lending it to the other person, he has no right to it whatsoever. But ultimately, the object really belongs to the Beis. Even while it was yours, it is yours by Hashem's decree, by Hashem's support. He is the one who is safeguarding it for you. And Hashem is safeguarding it for everybody. Therefore, if you lend it to the other person, then this transaction is now actually supported and by Hashem Himself, and you can't change it. This is going back to a different level, providing a background for the principle. But the principle has to be understood what the halacha is. So once that it reflects, it's reflected already in Moichin Hashayochin and Midas, and you understand that once you lend the object, it's his for the duration of the loan. So then, when you get Hamshochas Meichin Be'etzem, it is not that great of a hischadshus, not great of a revelation and a novelty, because somebody has not muted the phone. We beg you to do so. Because you have the Moichin expressed to the Midas. Therefore, this is not like a new Moichin. And it's not such a great hischadshus, because these Moichin have already expressed their effect as they are reflected in Midas, in the halach. Vimkein, and therefore we come back to that question. Mahu inyan Moichin chadosh. What is the principle of Moichin chadosh? And in Sifrei Kabbalah it says that the whole inyan of Avodah is to be mamshich Moichin chadosh. New Moichin, which means that aspect of Moichin that is not present in the Midas, not even in a form, in a subset form, in a form that it affects the Midas. Aho inyan hu, the inyan is hina yodua. It is known sheyesh yud sfiras the ma, v'yud sfiras the ba. We're not going to go into ma ban very deeply. Essentially, ma uban is a reference to the numerical value of ma, which is 45, numerical value of ban, which is 52. And these numerical values are the result of the numerical value of how you spell out Shem Havaya. And you can spell out Shem Havaya, in other words, the Yud K and Vav K, especially the K. The Yud, to expand on the Yud, it's Yud Vav Dalet. The K can be expanded in various ways. It can be expanded K Yud, it can be expanded K K, K Aleph, and so forth. And these are the various ways, the various numerical values of the Shem Havaya. And they are reflective of the Shem Havaya on different levels. And generally speaking, Ma is referring to Shem Havai the way it is in Chochmah, in Mechin, and Ban is the way it is in Midas. The Loshen Ma is Begematria Odom, and Ban is Begematria Bhema. Okay, this is just an introduction to the scene. Within both of these levels, there is Yud Spheres, all 10 spheres. The Yin and Yud Sphere is the Ban. Oh, what is the principle Yud Sphere is the Ban? Hine ein soy be'etzem homeroim umuvdo legamri migeder spheres. The Ein Sof, in essence, is totally remote, superior, supreme, and remote from Geder spheres, from of the phenomenon and the parameters of spheres. What does this mean, Geder spheres? Again, this is going to be developed. Sphere means there's a certain particular type of a light, green, blue, yellow, red. What is the principle of the various lights? It is a subset. It is revealing certain qualities in this light. And these qualities, I mean, talking in terms of spheres of Milo, is Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes. All of these qualities are, in effect, subsets revealing certain aspects within the Oyer Sof that comes through from Oyer Sof. But the Oyer Sof be'etzem, in essence, what Oyer Sof is totally removed from the Geder spheres, from the whole phenomenon of spheres. What does this mean? Although it is true that we get spheres as a derivative from the Oyer Sof, but that does not mean that the Oyer Sof actually contains the spheres. It does not consist of a combination of spheres. Ein Sof is Ein Sof literally, which does not have any content, any definitive content, because it's above definitive content, and it does not have the identifiable spheres whatsoever. Somehow, from the Ein Sof, there is the effect of drawing and filtering out specific spheres, which is an Ayin from Tzimtzum and the Ein Sof. But the Ein Sof be'etzem, the Ein Sof in itself, is totally l'mayla megeder spheres. So that when you talk about the Ein Sof, it is incorrect to say that you're talking about that which incorporates all the spheres, and it is a conglomeration of all the spheres. That is not correct. It's an entirely different element. Afilu mehasfirei shelamayla me'atzilus. Even from spheres that are above Atzilus. What is this Afilu? It's very difficult to speak in terms of Atzilus, and it's higher than Atzilus. But one thing that we already, so to speak, got used to recognizing, the union of our spheres, the way they are in Atzilus, is that these spheres can be mislabish in Keli. there's a way of expressing it, of showing it. I said that's the keli.
I mean, identifying it as a separate sphere from, as opposed to something else, another sphere.
Right, but that's correct. But in Atzilus, it's not just that there are oires of the spheres. There is a kelim of the spheres. The oir that's mislabish in the keli, that means that this is already a clear defined metzius. Particularly, it's a metzius. It's a presence. This is the pshat. Spheres in Atzilus. The first level. Atzilus, and that's what Atzilus is such a significant thing. The first level where the oires are mislabish in kelim is in Atzilus. Above that, there is no oires in kelim. What is the principle of kelim? Just very briefly. Even it's not mentioned over here. I just want to explain the thing. So I've been saying, I feel oires shel ma'alim, I feel spheres me'alim atzilus. What's the afilo? What's so significant is the union of oires in kelim is that, just as we explained before, in the union of the moichin hashayochim lemidos, and then there's moichin be'etzem. So moichin hashayochim lemidos have a real presence. They actually specify certain circumstances, and they can illuminate. They can give guidance in certain circumstances. Do this and don't do this. The hakeli is that you have just like a keli in a simple sense. You have a cup and they have water. You have an identity, and then you say, what is this identity for? To put oil in it. That's what a keli. The keli fits the oil perfectly, like a cup is made specifically for water. But even though it's made for water, so it's completely, so to speak, dedicated and bottled to its function as holding water. Yet still, it presents water on a level where it becomes a mitzias, like it is in a cave. Normally, as we always point out, like water it does not stand on its own. Water is connected to its source. Water is part of the river, part of the lake, part of the ocean. It doesn't stand on its own. In a keli, it can become a mitzias. It can be separated from its source and identified as water in a keli. It can be given a presence. This is in a keli, and this is the sphere is in Atzilus. The primary of the sphere is the oil hasphere. But in Atzilus, the oil is at that level that it can be actually put into a keli and presented. Here, this is this sphere. That's meant a keli. So we're saying that Ein Sof Be'etzem is totally removed above the whole thing of Geder spheres. Geder spheres mean the whole phenomenon of spheres. Even spheres are above Atzilus. The way spheres are in a state of oir where it cannot be identified with in a cave. The conceptual element of spheres. Ein Sof, oir Ein Sof, our Ein Sof Be'etzem is not related even to that. There's not even a conceptual spheres on a conceptual level. As it says in Eitz Chaim, she'ein shum toya spheres be'ein soif. That there is not any toya, any definitive element that you can be metayr. Metayr means you can
Form.
please, that you can describe a sphere being soif. There's nothing to be metayr in Ein Sof. And here we stop. Just want to start the next line so that we know where it's leading to. Hine asfiras hein bebchinas mitzius dover ma. Because spheres, by definition, are in the realm of mitzius dover ma, of some element of a presence. And here we have to stop, and we'll reconvene in Mitzvah Shem tonight at approximately 8:30, hopefully, and that will be in 679 Crown Street. Have a good day. Call to.
Down, 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 down,